All right, so we have a beautiful look here. I'm impressed with these shadows. We have a new palette, we have a new brand, and I saw this brand being featured on Makeup on Your Radar. That is Jamie's page on Instagram, and I said, I'm intrigued. So let's go ahead, let's jump into the video so I can show you this beautiful palette and the performance of it. Hey guys, this is Ashley. Welcome on back to my channel. So, like I just mentioned, we have the beautiful Kryptein Cosmetics palette here. This is called the Burnt Forest. Look at it. 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 You know I love a good holographic time. So look at this color story. It is simply beautiful. So I saw this palette and I was just like, you know what? I know it's a new brand, but these swatches, the palette, the color story, it is calling my name. So let me go ahead and introduce myself before I get carried away. Let me change my camera battery because apparently it's about to die. I'll be right back. All right, new battery in here. Let me go ahead and introduce myself. If you are new to this channel, welcome. If you're on the Bugatti, welcome on back. My name is Ashley. I have a doctorate in pharmacy and I love makeup. So that's how you get Dr. Ash and her makeup, but please just call me Ash or Ashley. Now, like I was saying, this beautiful palette from Kryptein Cosmetics. So this is a brand new brand and I didn't know anything about the owner, and the owner's name is Hezi, and it looks like she is based out of China. And this palette released on February 16th and it retails for $59 and is called the Burnt Forest palette. And I just thought that the color story was really pretty. I learned about the palette from Makeup on Your Radar. If you don't follow Jamie, what are you doing? She posts all the indie makeup and she posts all the, non-indie makeup basically, okay? And fragrances. So if you just want one place to basically look at it all, she's the channel for you, or she's the Instagram page, because it's an Instagram page. Now, I thought this color story was just absolutely gorgeous. And when things are a new brand, you're like, I don't really know. And I saw the swatches. I was like, well, that's gorgeous. I'm intrigued. And then I still had to think about it. Do I want to go ahead and purchase? The palette retails for $59. So let's give a few things about the palette. Of course, we have this sleek packaging. I do like it because it gives a nice holographic effect. Goes with the theme of the palette. It did come in this carton right here. The carton. It has the ingredients. It's broken down between the duochrome ingredients and the matte. The ingredients are also listed on the website, which is krypteincosmetics.com, and I hope I am pronouncing that correctly. And the palette, unfortunately, is sold out right now. So it is on a pre-order. Because she's a brand new brand, she started with, I think, a smaller batch of palettes. It might have been 500 to 1,000. And the only reason I know, because I was talking to her, and at first she was saying that she wasn't going to do any PR. But then I think she decided to do some PR. I was just shooting my shot, guys, honestly, because I was like, I'm a creator. I'm a Black woman. It's good to see these products on different types of people. So I wasn't selected for PR, but that's totally fine. It is what it is. There are people out here who think do a really great job at demoing palettes on Instagram and everything like that. But she was really nice. I will say that the brand owner was really nice. The palette sold out quick, so I knew she was only doing 500 to about 1,000 units. So that's really not a lot, but it is a lot, and it's scary, and it's a big risk to take on if you are a new brand. I know I would be like, oh my gosh, clutching my pearls. And this was not a pre-order for the first release. This was a straight up order it, get your product in hand. I think I actually got this order within like a week and a half, very quickly, because it comes from China, okay? Like, she's based in China. So I was really impressed. I was also impressed with the way it was shipped. Now, the palette, actually, the black hole shade was actually shipped separately, where it was actually like in a single eyeshadow container and you just pop it in. So all the shades right here, you're able to, they're magnetized, you can pop them out, you know, you can reorder them. Or if you're a person that likes to build your own palettes, you're going to have no problem there. And that's because she said that shade is pretty fragile. So I felt like everything packaged very well. So like I said, the palette did retail for $59. The owner was really nice. I did have a little bit of trouble when I ordered my palettes. I ordered it as soon as it launched because I knew she had a small amount and I was like, well, I want the palette. So I paid through PayPal. And because also, you know, side notes, things that I'm not sure about, I'm like, I'm gonna order through PayPal. So if some don't work out, you know, but I didn't have that fear. But that's my logic that I use with certain things, you know. So I didn't have a fear about that. But I think you weren't able to actually log on to PayPal, which was fine for me. And I didn't know that that was an issue until later on. And she mentioned on her Instagram, you had to just kind of pay as a guest or pay with the debit card through PayPal. You couldn't actually log on to your PayPal account. But for some reason, because, you know, all my little passwords are up in the Apple cloud, when I tried to log on to PayPal on my phone, when I'm shopping through a website, it acts real funny. Like, it'd be like access denied. Basically, PayPal will be like, not feeling me. So I just went ahead through the credit and debit card. I didn't think that that was the issue, but that was part of the issue because she's such a new brand. She had to get some more things established with PayPal. Like, she basically had to run more numbers, run more business basically through PayPal before they granted her certain accesses. So, and then there was a discount code. Didn't know about the discount code because you know how the indie makeup streets are. You're such in a rush to get your palette. And I see the post later on, like hours later after I ordered the palette. And I'm like, there was a discount code. It saved 10%, but 10% is 10%. You know, that helps with the tax, the shipping, all of that. So I said, oh my God, I didn't know about it. So I emailed her. And I told her, I was like, hey, I would like to add, you know, the discount code onto my product. And can I just have that added on? And then I got an email saying that the product was refunded. So I was like, okay, what's happening? And I reached out to her through direct message through Instagram, and she was like, okay, well, I had to like refund it in order because of the discount. And I was like, but I still want my palette. And she was like, well, you can repurchase it. They said because the PayPal account was so new that they were not allowed to just refund that low portion of the money like other brands can because they're just becoming established. So I was like, okay. And there was still inventory left, so I was able to get the palette. And then she also said, well, I understand, like, if you just need to wait for the refund to hit to repurchase the palette, I'll put a palette aside for you. So I thought that that was really nice. And I said, no, I can go in and repurchase the palette. So I repurchased the palette. And then maybe a day later, she was like, oh, I'm definitely going to check on a refund, like PayPal. I had to upload more documents to PayPal and everything like that. She was like, I'm definitely going to check for it. And then like 2 days later, she was like, well, they're taking a long time to get your money back. So I'm just going to refund it personally. And PayPal told me I could. So she sent me my PayPal back. And I was just like, wow, thank you. Like, that was really nice of her because I really wasn't expecting her to refund me out of her own pocket. Like, of course she'll get that money from PayPal, but it was just like the extra attention. She was really apologetic and everything like that. And I mean, honestly, like, she's getting off the ground. This is her first launch. So I'm sure it was like a lot of things she has to learn, a lot of discoveries, no matter how well you're prepared. But other than that, everything went very smoothly. So let's talk about a couple things that we need to talk about with the palette before we get into these 3 gorgeous eye looks. Like, I'm going to the Kryptein Cosmetics site. Let's see. It's been so many phone calls that have been deterring me from trying to wrap this up that I had to take. But, I like to give a few things about the palette. Like I said, the palette is unfortunately on pre-order. It says about 4 weeks, so might get it pretty fast. As far as the description, okay, so for the palette for the pre-order, if you're interested, it's going to be estimated shipping time about April 5th. And so you can actually go on the website and order it now. So April 5th really isn't that far away. It's at this point, it's about 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks. There are 6 mattes in the palette. There are 4 multi-chromes. There's 1 duochrome and 1 mixed shimmer shade. And then, of course, they want you to know that the black hole shade is going to be packaged separately because It is easy to break. The ingredients are also on the website, and it gives like the breakdown and everything like that. So if you're interested, go ahead and take a peek. Now, as far as, let's see, as far as, I usually like to tell you if a product is vegan, cruelty free, all of that stuff. There isn't any info. So I do not know. I do know you could be made in China and be vegan and cruelty free as long as you don't sell in China, but she might sell in China. So that might be a possibility. So if that's a concern, you could probably just, check the website to see if there's any updates. I'm kind of scrolling through it now. I don't see anything that is telling me. I'll try to probably reach out to her. And as I put this video up, I will probably leave a pinned comment and put it in the description box. But let's go ahead and get started with these looks. Yes, that's what you're here for. All right, let's get started. The eyebrows. Well, basically, I have on makeup because I went out and about today. So eyebrows are filled in using my Groovy pencil, shade 3.75. I'm using my new Makeup Forever foundation. This is the Hydro Glow Skin, or the HD Skin. Yeah, Hydro Glow, basically. This is in the shade 4Y60. So far, I've really been liking it. I did kind of powder it down just slightly with my Pat McGrath under eye powder. I like this powder just to kind of dust in certain areas where I might need it, because I really don't powder my face because I have dry skin. And for the skin prep, before I put this foundation on, I did use the new Danessa Myricks Moisture Repair Balm Serum. I really like this. I used this right when I got out of the shower, but it absorbed into the skin. But with the foundation and this together, it does get very glowy, kind of slippy slidey. Well, it doesn't even slip and slide, actually. It just needed, when things just need a little powder, a little set, that's what it needed. And so I actually forego doing my regular skincare because I had to get dressed quick and get out the house. So I just did this just to see how my face feels. And my face feels good. It feels moisturized. It feels hydrated. I don't feel like I look greasy or anything like that. I feel like the foundation is really nice. It doesn't do a whole lot of transferring or anything like that. I did go ahead and set it with my Urban Decay, my Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray right here. This is like a holy grail around these parts. Okay, and for my bronzer, I went in with my Juvia's Place bronzer in the shade Tan. This is a duo package right here. And I took my blush by Glaminatrix. This is in the shade Poppy. This is a liquid blush. This is a cheek and lip blush. So you can use this on the lips. I do have a code with Glaminatrix. Also, it is Dr. Ash. All my codes are Dr. Ash. And for the eyelids, I just went in and primed with my Matte Contemplative State. I have worn this palette before, and it was very pretty. I wore it to work. Did I wear it to work? Yes, I wore it to work. Yes, we're going to go with that. So really pretty, and I'm going to create one of the looks that kind of wore to work, and I'm just going to amp it up. And I really like this palette. The formula is so good. When I tried it, I was like, I'm here for it. Like when you see how this shade shows up, I'm like, okay. So we're going to get started with some looks. And yeah, that's what we got going on. And any other face details that I add when we complete the makeup look, I'll talk about them on the other side. right, I am back and here are the first two looks. They are gorgeous and the performance of these shadows, so good. So impressed. I mean, this is a new brand, so you don't know what to expect, but we're going to talk about it in just a second. So for the face details, I did nothing extra. I literally just added on, what is this? Pat McGrath Flesh Fantasy Luster Gloss, no lip liner. And as you can see, we're almost finished with her. And then for the waterline, in this particular eye, I went in with my ColourPop Multi-Chrome Gel Cream Liner. And this is the shade Ventura Boulevard. Let me tell you, these liners are a must-have. And for this particular eye, I was trying to figure out, should I do the green liner, but I wasn't quite sure. So I kept it basic. Went in with my black liner. This is the Extreme Black Liner by Pat McGrath Labs. Now, let's talk about these shadows. These shadows are blendable. They're pigmented, but they're not over pigmented that you can't kind of share them out. And I am most impressed with this green mossy shade, which is called Bergen, yeah, which is right here. I just love how it actually shows up on my complexion. Like, true to color, it's not looking ashy. You can build it up and you can have that punch of color. I did go back in with this on this eye because, and it's extended higher, because I felt like I lost most of the shadow by covering it up with the shimmer shades. But the color, the hue of it is just amazing. Now, originally when I did this work for look, I actually used I used Dawn in the inner corner, I believe, instead of using it in this side. But I really like how that blue with the green plays. And the shade Lake, I want to say, now this one, only thing I realized about this shade, not too much manipulation. So after I put it on my eye and I was trying to kind of like buff out the edges, I did notice that it faded just a little bit. Now, Starry Sky, it looks like a starry sky. That starry sky, really pretty, laid down really well. And the glitter glue that I kind of applied a little bit prior to this, probably was almost like on the way to drying, because my memory card died and I had to just get another memory card, and then that memory card was full. Didn't die, they were full. And then I had to just like delete a whole bunch of stuff so I could come back and finish filming the video. And I think everything just worked out really great. The shade Moss, so gorgeous. Fiery, it's so fiery. It's amazing. So that light green and it's not even really like pink. It's literally like fire, like an amped down version of the shade Wildfire. So I definitely want to play with Wildfire, but everything blended out really nice. The matte soil blended out really nicely as well. I like how it's deep, but you can kind of share it out, get more dimension, especially if you want it to be a little bit deeper on the skin tone. Right here, we had the transition. Oh, it's literally called transition. I didn't realize that. Okay, but it kind of set it up as a nice little base, gave a nice little contour. If you're lighter than me, that is going to be a good shade for you as well. And I'm not even going to fool with Germ. That would have to be like an inner corner shade for me, because clearly it's very light. But everything so far has just been so great. The shimmer performances. Of course, I'm using a glitter glue because of the type of shimmers. Now, Moss is definitely a thicker shimmer. Not too flaky, but just a little flaky. So definitely go in with a little bit, because a little bit is going to go a long way. And I would just kind of pat it and press it down and then start like blending across your eyes. Like, you kind of have to activate the particles and warm it up, because it is just a little bit flakier, but everything else seemed to be pretty smooth. And I would say Starry Sky is just, it's not as flaky as Moss, but it does have a little flake potential. But gorgeous. I'm in love with both of these looks. So pretty. So happy that I picked up this palette so far, because you just don't ever know when it comes to new brands. You're like, So, all right, I'm going to take this off. I'm probably going to grab a snack first. I'm a little hungry. And then I'll be back for another look. right, I am back. This is the third and final look. I am in love with it. Look at it. It is just so pretty. It's definitely giving like my alma mater vibes, which is FAMU. Our colors are orange and green, but this little orange shade paired with the green, this hunter green is like chef's kiss, and the black. So the shade Black Hole is really nice. I mean, it just provided the right amount of depth where it didn't change the color of the green shade, which was Withered Leaf, but it just really added that dimension. I just know I just used like a pinch, but still, like the way that green blends, it's really nice. And see, that's what I was talking about also with Soil, because I was able to go in and use it as a really nice transition shade. So it's deep, but you could also just kind of keep blending and keep blending and you can get it to the desired brown that you want it to be. Now, like I said, these shimmers are to die for, really gorgeous, really nice. I am thoroughly impressed with this palette. I think it's just a really gorgeous color story. I think you can do a lot with it. Of course, some of the looks I wouldn't say my looks were predictable, but they were and they weren't, but they were really beautiful. But I just kind of peeked at the Instagram for a second of on Kryptein Cosmetics. That's what I'm trying to say. And there was a lot of different inspiration, and I love how the looks came out. So once again, like this palette is just really great. It's really versatile. And I actually kind of included it on my little spicy neutrals. I was like, it kind of gives spicy neutrals, but it isn't a neutral palette because it does have like a lot of greens and the pops of blues and then the fiery tones. But I just really think that this color story is really great. I saw the color story. I was like, when I saw the swatches, I was like, oh yes, okay, I'm going to go ahead and take my chance and just dive in and see what can happen, you know. And I think that it's pure magic. Everything's really blendable. I think this is going to work well on many different skin complexions. I like how the packages were shipped. I was a little confused because I didn't see this initially that the Black Hole was going to be separate. So initially when I opened the palette, I was like, everything's fine. And then I went back to look at the palette. I was like, wait, there's a shade missing. Now I did recognize that there was a shade that was prepackaged separate with the palette. But I don't know why, in my mind, I thought that that was the free shade, and I didn't think I actually got the free shade because there was a free single shade that was given with the palette while supplies last, and I didn't think I qualified for that. But then I was like, oh, well, maybe I did, and then I realized, oh, there's no shade here. And then I opened up the shade, and I was like, oh. And that's because it was so fragile, but everything else is just phenomenal. I really like the packaging, sleek, nice little multi-chrome. Okay, it's gonna blur out the camera. It's, you know, it gives a depth vibes. It gives Glaminatrix vibes, but as far as the packaging, but I still like when, you know, companies just kind of keep it sleek and just, you know, it gives it a nice aesthetic as far as that. I think the price point was okay. The shipping was pretty fast, especially from coming from all the way from China. Didn't have a problem with it. And the customer service that I received was really great from the brand owner because, like I said in the beginning, I did have a couple little issues. There was a little, it was like weird, but I understand where she was coming from with the whole PayPal thing by her being a new business. So it was all good. She made everything right. And I think I'm glad that she like took the extra time, even though I wasn't like worried about it, but the only thing I was worried about was like, why is my order saying cancel? I still want my palette, you know, and I knew, you know what I mean? And I knew the quantities that she had in stock were pretty slim. So let me know, are you thinking about trying this brand? Did you pick up this palette? Let me know what your favorite looks are. I'm loving this look. I loved all three of the looks. The blue look was bomb. Of course, the first look was bomb because I actually wore that to work the other day. I had good longevity with all of the shadows, so that's always a plus. So leave me a comment down below. Give this video a big old thumbs up. Hit the notification bell so when I come out with another video, you will know when. And subscribe to my channel because, you know, I would love to have you here in my little makeup family. And with that being said, you already know what time it is. It's time for the Cheddar Dance. Hey, 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 Cheddar. Cheddar. Hey. Hey. All right, y'all. Bye.